Welcome, everyone. This is the April meeting 2023 of the acquisitions SIG for koha-US. Just want to welcome everyone, and we will get started here. It's just a couple minutes after the top of the hour, so I think we can just get started. What I was thinking about, just to kind of maybe build a little community here, is to have everybody just introduce yourself, tell us which library you're from, and then if you could, mention one thing about how you use acquisitions. If you use acquisitions, are you EDI, non-EDI? Do you use the suggestions module? Just anything that, any way that you actually use the acquisitions module, or maybe you're curious about it and you don't use it at all. So I will get started, and then I will just call off names in the order I see them on my screen and have you introduce yourselves. So my name is Rhonda Kuiper. I work at the Round Rock Public Library. I am the Technical Services and Collection Development Manager. And we use EDI, and we use suggestions as well. So Victoria.
Hi, good morning. My name is Victoria and I work at the Antonina Public Library. I am the acquisitions technician. We do use EDI. Yes, we do use the acquisitions module as well as the purchase suggestions features.
Okay, welcome, Victoria.
Thank you.
Next, I have Christy.
Hi, everyone. I'm Christy Ballasteri. I work at the Monterey Public Library in California, and I am in acquisitions. So I was fortunate enough to kind of learn the program fairly rapidly because right after I came on board, we decided to outsource for our cataloging and processing. So I investigated different vendors and switched over to EDI ordering and invoicing. So I use as many aspects of acquisitions that I can, including suggestions and the budget. And I have dug a little bit into administration because I've had to for programming and setting this all up. So anyway, I think it's a really fun module, and I love to learn more about it and share ideas with all of you.
Okay, thanks, Christy. Next, I have Amanda.
Hi, I'm Amanda. I'm the systems librarian at Huntsville-Madison County Public Library. We do use EDI ordering with Ingram and Midwest. We just switched from Baker and Taylor to Ingram, and we use the purchase suggestions. And our weird thing that we're trying to deal with, and it's a little overwhelming, we have not been receiving items for years and years and years for whatever reason. And now that we've switched to Ingram, we can do the EDI invoicing like Christy mentioned. So I would like to start receiving those items, but we have almost 10 years worth of orders floating around out there. So that'll be the fun project sometime later this year.
Okay, well, welcome, Amanda. All right, then
Rhonda, I think your mic cut out for a second.
Oh, okay.
I couldn't hear what you said.
Oh, okay. Sherry, you're next.
Yeah, I can hear you. This is Sherry Wade. I'm at the Marshall Public Library in Idaho, and we, my department does all the acquisitions and cataloging. We use suggestions, and we do not use EDI, but I'm interested in it. So,
welcome, Sherry. Barbara.
Hi, I'm Barbara Johnson. I am at Bedford Public Library, Texas. I am Technical Services Manager and Koha System Administrator. We are non-EDI. We're a single site library. We're still looking at doing EDI. We use the purchase suggestions. That's it.
Thank you, Barbara. Welcome. All right, next I have Deanie.
Hi, I am Danae. I am from the Rancho Mirage Public Library and I'm a clerk. I do a lot of cataloging and we use the EDI for acquisition.
Danae, I will get your name right. Welcome. Jason.
I'm Jason Robb. I'm the Seek and Find Coordinator at the Southeast Kansas Library System. We are a consortium of 48 public libraries and 1 community college. We don't use acquisitions because we are like a scattered consortium and we didn't ever feel like acquisitions was really equipped for what we would need it for. But we do use the purchase suggestions. So that's the main component that we're using right now.
Thank you, Jason. Holly.
Hi, I'm Holly McDougall. I work here in technical services at the Round Rock Public Library with Rhonda Kuiper. I'm the acquisitions assistant. I think Rhonda probably covered everything for us. We do order through most of our major vendors with EDI, and we do use the acquisitions module and purchase suggestions. And I'm sure there's some other stuff I'm forgetting.
George.
I mentioned in the chat, Rhonda, you're kind of hard to hear today. It seems to be uneven.
All right.
So I don't know what's going on, but I'm George Williams. I'm the NEKLS Search Catalog Coordinator at Northeast Kansas Library System. And I'm from Idaho. I'm even wearing my Boise State shirt today. So it's nice to meet you, Danae. I don't think I know you from Marshall, but I was from Idaho. Our system is like Jason's. We have 51 libraries. We don't use acquisitions. We had a library that experimented with it for a while, about 8 years ago. But I'm curious about it. And we do use the purchase suggestion system, or at the very least, I should say, we have it turned on, and some libraries never pay any attention to what's going on in the purchase suggestions. And some libraries are all over it. So it's a little bit uneven here.
Thanks, George. And then Daphne.
Hi, I'm Daphne Houlihan from Interleaf in Ireland, and we support COA sites in Ireland, and we use acquisitions. A lot of them use acquisitions and also use EDI. Now, the EDI is a little bit different in Europe to what you have, but I'm on this group to find out about all the new things coming and hopefully find out any problems before, so you have them solved before I have to deal with them. And it's because I suppose we felt for a long time that acquisitions is running behind the other modules in COA, but it is improving all the time. So we're delighted with that. That's me.
Okay, thank you. And welcome to the group. Okay. Hopefully most of you saw the email I sent out earlier about, find it back, the response that I got from Bywater. So to set the stage, I think it was last month or the month before, both of them. We talked about.
So Rhonda,
Yeah.
if you face toward the window, we can hear you better. And when you pull away from the window, you start to fade out. I don't know why, but that may help us hear better.
Okay. So if I go this way, is this better?
That's good.
Okay. I will.
Don't move.
Okay. Don't move. All right. We'll try that again. At the last meeting, we talked about a bug, an enhancement that Barbara and I had talked with Nick Clements from Bywater about at the last KohaCon / koha-US conference about how to deal with the situation where you're ordering things in one year, but they're not going to come in until the next year, and how to do that in a way that helps us more accurately understand how much is left in our budget. Turn my head this way. We came up with, kind of a workflow that Nick looked at a little more. We put the bug in Bugzilla, and he looked at it a little bit more, and they came up with an estimate of $8,000. So that includes cleanup and consolidation of the budget drop downs and acquisitions. So they use the same options, which any kind of cleanup, that's a good thing. And then add an option to budget drop downs that says show all. So you would see all the active year budgets, and then add an option when importing stage. I think that's supposed to be filed to basket. Choose budget period so that you could do that. This would then match incoming codes to the chosen budget period. And then on receipt, the active budget would be the default, and there'd be an option provided to choose another one. So that would allow us to, I guess, both at order and at receipt, to make sure that we've got the stuff in the right budget and be able to edit the funds and budgets that we have. So what I did was I asked him to put this on the crowdfunding page that Bywater has. I think it's called devs.bywatersolutions.com. And they, what we can then do is pledge toward it or commit, money toward it. And once it gets fully funded, they will put it on their queue. Yeah, thanks, George, for the link. There's a lot of other great developments out there too, if you want to peruse to see what else other libraries have suggested as developments. So if that's definitely something to talk about with your library, think about. This would really help the purchasing end of the whole process to get, and the whole library would benefit, because we would be able, you'd be able to spend more accurately. And, we're in a use it or lose it budget situation. So, I like to spend down to, I got our digital account down to like $1 last year. I was so proud of myself. So
I'm pretty sure it was pennies, Rhonda.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Holly is my she's the one that actually pushes the button, and she keeps looking. Are you sure you want to do this? Are you sure you want to do this? I'm like, yes, go for it. So that I wanted to bring up, because that is one that I think would benefit, whether you use EDI or not. Everybody would benefit from this one. So talk it over with your library, however you do it, if it's city funds or library funds or friends funds or whatever. If we can get a bunch of libraries to all support this, we can get it on the queue.
Rhonda,
Yes.
and if you had things ordered in your current fiscal year and then like the pub date is pushed out, you could just move that item into the next fiscal year. Is that true?
Yes.
What they're looking at? Okay.
Yeah.
That would be great. Also, I wonder if we should pursue getting an alternate quote from Catalyst in New Zealand. I know Jason and Rhonda and I are all on the koha-US development committee. And there's another development that was finished up, and it was done by Catalyst, and it was not as expensive, and they thought they would be able to, do work quickly, and that might be another option just to see what they think.
I did ask,
Okay.
and they came back and with a quote of 13.
You're fading out again.
Okay, 1,320 New Zealand dollars was their quote, which is about $815 US. So it's a factor of 10 different. My concern is whether or not they fully understand. I would like to talk to them some more to make sure that they really understand what we're trying to do. So, I mean, that's definitely a possibility. But I'm just, because there's such a huge gap between those two prices, I want to make sure that they're both going to be doing the work that we want. Otherwise, it's pretty, have Catalyst do it and they would get it done quicker, in all likelihood. So that's the other option for this. And yeah, I will let everybody know what I learn from Catalyst as I just talk to them some more. Because I just got this information back from Bywater, so I want to kind of run it past Catalyst and see if what they're planning on doing is the same breadth or depth, or however you want to think about it, as what Bywater is talking about. But part of me is thinking maybe we just do the Catalyst version, at least to have the function there, that would help move it forward. So, and then maybe there's some cleanup or, enhancement work that could be done later, but we would at least have the function starting out. So that is what, where that stands. But I think we're all really excited about the possibility that this can be done, and we can get some more work done on at the end of year processing, because it's coming up for, well, anybody that does June and July, I'm sure, or end of year June has started running into stuff that you're ordering, and it's going to be coming out in July and August already. Okay, that was the major update. Does anybody have any questions about this? Other ideas, ways to approach this? Okay. Then
I'm sorry, I had a question, Rhonda.
Okay.
And I meant to dig into this a little bit deeper, because so I know that your intention is, like Barbara said, if we have things on order with the budget we're closing out, that they would just go on into the next fiscal year with the new budget codes. And in the past, the way I've done it is I've set up the new budget, and we usually use the same fund codes. But at a certain point, we cancel the old budget, obviously, like as of the end of our fiscal year, and the new budget kicks in. So essentially you could change all of those new orders, or the orders pending, into the new budget. So your thought is it would do it automatically?
you would have, you'd be able to move them not automatically, I guess, but before the end of the year. So it would be,
You're cutting out again.
I'm so getting this thing. We're getting a microphone. This is not the first time this has happened, but I thought it was a fluke before. All right. So I finally got enough light in here. Now my microphone's freaking out. Okay. So what the thought is that like if you're ordering in, like our end of year is September 30th. So if I'm ordering in August and I have a you know, some books that aren't going to be available until October, that when I order them, I can assign them to next year's budget so that they don't show up in this year's budget as being ordered and taking away from the money I have for this year. So that when we get close to the end of the year, I have a more accurate understanding of what is left in my budget and how much I can spend or not spend at the end of the year. Does that
So I
make
think,
sense?
yeah, so I think that was my question, and I've only, I think, closed that about 3 times, but what I have done in the past is I have 2 budgets open at the same time, like towards the end of the fiscal year. And so if I have new orders coming in, I'll assign them to the new budget. And so that's why I was wondering why it was an issue, unless I'm not remembering correctly. Have you ever done it that way?
We tried that, but with EDI, if those Barbara, you might need to, if they came in.
Still cutting out. Just trying to be helpful.
Yes, no, you are. Hang on. I don't know if that helped. I just kind of dope slapped my camera. We'll see if that helped at all. So to Christy's question, there is, let me. Oh. Okay. So if we have 2 active budgets and at the same time, and we receive on, you know, some order that comes in, and we also do the same, the thing where we have the same fund codes for both budgets. Koha has no way of knowing that which one to receive the budget on, and will by default usually pick the newer budget to, you know, to receive on. So we wanted a way to be able to not have to constantly make that the new budget active and inactive and active and inactive when we're ordering and receiving, is kind of the problem that we were running into.
Okay, so even though you have a start date on the new budget, which would be after your fiscal year, if it's active, it still could be pulling from that.
Yeah, those dates that go with the budgets are just for human consumption. The computer doesn't really pay attention to them. It doesn't limit anything. You know, like you only can receive within that budget year. It doesn't do that kind of stuff.
Okay, thanks for clarifying. I'm going to try to review my process again and kind of go through it more meticulously.
Okay. All right. Yeah. If you have any other questions, just shoot me an email.
Rhonda, this is Sherry. I've been using 2 different budget years for the last few budget years, but the only thing I use I have a budget that's 2024 that starts October 1st. And the only thing I'm putting in there right now is the standing orders that are coming in after October. And I've named that fund 24 standing order. So it's a different fund. So that's how I get around it. But that's me and my small library. We're able to make that work.
Okay. Yeah, that is a good one. So Sherry, do you switch over to the new budget? Do you?
Sorry, I missed your question.
Oh, I don't know why I always have to shove my chair forward. When you switch over to the new budget, do you then move that standing order stuff someplace else, or do you just leave it in that standing order?
All of the standing orders from 2023 will have come in by then. If there are any that haven't, I will move them over into the 2024 budget before I close the 2023 budget.
Okay. All right, thank you. Okay. So, so the other thing that I wanted to do, kind of in the vein of Monday minutes, is to kind of look at 2211 as far and focus on acquisitions and what's coming there. And so I have pulled up Bywater's demo site, which is on 2111 or 2211, sorry. And I had, oops. Yeah, I got the release notes here too. So I'm hesitant to share my screen because then you can't even read my lips when I'm doing that. But we will try. We will try. All right. Maybe you have a smaller view of the screen now. So let me get to the top. And so the first thing that, of course, you will notice, oops, on the staff side is the change in look and feel of on 2211. So the colors, they've gone with the koha green colors and kind of, I don't know, the buttons look a little different, and we do now have the release that you're on right on that home page, so you don't have to go into more about, you know, all that kind of stuff to figure out which release that you're on. So that's right up front. And the search bar has changed a little. Instead of having tabs underneath it, there are selections along the side. And when you click one of these, it changes the name that's in the front there. So searching patrons, search the catalog, that kind of thing. And it also changes the little hint words in there as well. So that's something new. And then, oh, I guess I've been logged out.
Rhonda, that was a little bit different than I think the one I saw that had mainly icons on the
Yeah.
homepage. Yeah.
Yeah, that one was one of the iterations that they went through, but decided to go with this instead.
Some of us complained, we didn't like how small. For some of us that have staff that can't read the small print, we complained and got them to change things around a little.
Well, it looks better this way.
Yeah.
We agree.
I think this looks really good. So, yeah, so in general, that's kind of, I'm trying to prepare my staff already. Lots of this because, they wake up one morning and come into work and everything looks different. They're gonna be like, "Oh, what happened?" So hopefully we'll gradually get them. We're early adopters, so I'm trying to get the staff used to this already. So what was I gonna do? Still, we have these same selections up at the top. So to find acquisitions, you go to more and then acquisitions. So this is what the acquisitions homepage looks like. Very similar to what it was before, just style change in this. So if we go and look at, we've got some enhancements. So what I'm going to do is just kind of read through and talk about them. But if somebody wants to see what one of these looks like, we can go dig and see what it looks like. Because some of them you can't really see anything until you're working. It's like this page loads faster or something like that. It doesn't really help. So we're just going to kind of go through these, and we've got just 25 minutes left anyway. So this first one, no way to go back to the basket on uncertain prices page. I would have shown you this, but I can't figure out how to get to uncertain prices. Does anybody use that or, oops. Because here it said acquisitions, uncertain prices would be the breadcrumbs. And I couldn't find it. So I don't know. Does anybody use uncertain prices? That feature? I know we don't. Okay, well, now you can get from uncertain prices pages, wherever you find that, back to acquisitions home. So that's a good thing. So the change or edit the estimated delivery date per order line. So if you go in here, oh, no, that wasn't what I wanted to do. Oh, what have I done? Oh, this thing refreshes every once in a while, so I may have. There were things ordered on here before. So if you go to an item, okay, this thing has refreshed since the last time I looked at it a half hour ago or an hour ago. So there's the option, let's go back. You can edit, there's a little edit and a pencil next to the estimated delivery date. So you can change that if you use the late order feature, so that, if something is showing up as a late order, but that they pushed the date back or whatever, you can go in and edit the estimated delivery date. Does anybody use the late order function? or the estimated delivery date on their stuff? Okay. Yeah, we don't use that either, but you know, it's out there, just now you know. The next one is allow update of order fund after receipt. Now, this was kind of interesting because of what we talked about earlier. You can now, let's see. So you can, sometimes after an order has come in, there are donations or changes to funds, and the library may wish to change the fund that the order is allocated from. So I don't know if you can do this between you know, like if you have two active budgets, if you could move, I'm guessing you can move the stuff around between there. So that may be a small step in the right direction of what we were looking at. But that is something that maybe we can, you know, all of us can play around with and see what we can come up with. Enhance the display of title information throughout acquisitions. So this adds the remainder of the title, subtitle, the medium, the part name, and part number to several pages of the acquisition module, so that, you know, sometimes, you know, it's the part number, you know, volume, whoever of this, you know, where they've got all the same name, and it's just the volume with the graphic novel stuff that is different. So it will show all of that stuff now. Order search should be possible with ISSN 2. So they've added, there's a new system preference, search with ISSN variations. And if you enable that in system preferences, you can search on the ISSN with and without the hyphen in there. So that just makes searching on ISSNs easier. This one was added in here. Display the return claims column in the circulation overdues page. That seemed like that one should be under circulation, but it's under acquisition, so I don't know. And then add type field for vendors. This enhancement adds a new field to record the vendor type when creating or editing vendors. This field can be used as a free text field or a drop-down menu if there are authorized values in the vendor type authorization vendor field category. So this would allow you to specify information about the vendor with an additional field. I don't know if you want to. I think this is all the vendors that were in there have since disappeared. Well, I guess if we wanted to add a new vendor, we could see. So this field right here, this vendor type field has been added. So you could do set some authorized values up in the authorized value area, and then have it as a drop down, you know, I don't know, it, you know, would be, you know, print book supplier, media supplier. I don't know what kinds of things that you could do, but I'm sure people will come up with something. And then additional fields for invoices. This new feature adds the ability to define additional fields to store information about vendor invoices. So this is again a place where people can put additional information in there. There is a new manage invoice fields page in the acquisitions administration to configure the fields, and then users can add additional fields, tie them to authorized values, and specify whether the fields can be searched in the acquisition module. So those two are we can add additional information to the invoices or the vendor there. This one, add a new English 1-page layout to export a basket as PDF. I'm not sure what that will do. And then this one could be really interesting. Add the ability to limit purchase suggestions by patron category. So you would exclude patron categories from submitting OPAC purchase suggestions by selecting them in the new suggestion patron category exceptions system preference. So if you had, if you are like a municipal library and you only wanted residents to submit purchase suggestions, or you only wanted adults to submit purchase suggestions, you could limit the ability to do purchase suggestions that with this new feature. And then we have add a non-public note column to the suggestions table. So this is something that we can, it's a non-public note, and it displays by default. So it's going to show up when you don't have any suggestions to look at, but this is where staff could put notes in it, like, researching this one to see if I can get it, or passing it off to another person and say, I think this is more in your category, in your area than mine, or something like that. But that can be helpful to be able to communicate between collection developers, or just with yourself, to make mental notes. So that would be good. Add baskets internal note to tables on vendor search results list. So that the internal notes will show up on the vendor search results list. The add select to fund selection in new order form. I'd have to do a little more searching to figure out what that one means. And this one, make order receive page faster on systems with many budgets. So that would be the one, that just loads it faster. Hopefully we'll notice that. And then here's removing some stuff. Looks like removing a system preference maybe. And then log basket number as object when an email order is sent. So that's the end of the acquisition. What do they call these? Enhancements. Then any questions about those? Any of them that you think will be really cool or helpful?
I did add a suggestion for you to the demo site.
Oh, did you? Okay, let's go. Oops. Where is it?
Just for fun.
Okay. Good. Oh, yes. Clothing. And then here is did I move? So here's the non-public. So edit and
Rhonda, you can't
Yeah.
hear you. You might need to smack your computer again.
uh-oh. So was it working okay for a little bit?
You were okay for a little bit, but then you cut out again.
Thinking my microphone is up there. Is that better? Can you hear me? Hear me now?
It's like 20% better. We need to start a GoFundMe for Rhonda and the microphone.
Yeah, I think so. Handheld or something. I can do a, what do they call it? Anyway. I'm just gonna put some gibberish. Save it. So now we can see this. But and then can we do
Have any of you used the Google API feature for the purchase suggestions?
have not?
I've got it turned on in our system and it works fine.
Us as well, yeah. I think it's been a nice option. So it could automatically like fill in the ISBN or what have you to better describe the title they're wanting.
Okay, yeah, I'll have to play around with that. I forgot about that. I saw it then. So this is the OPAC side for the account that made the suggestion. And you can see that the non-public show up there. So that's kind of a nice thing. We sometimes put notes in. Actually, we changed status to indicate which collection developer is working on it, but maybe with the non-public note, we can do some other stuff too. Thanks, George, for letting us see that. Okay, so then there are some okay, so these are critical bug fixes. So these are things that were in the release previous 2205 but weren't working properly. So these got fixed. So I'll just read through them. When creating orders from a stage file, discounts applied in the form are added. So they've enhanced that sometime. And then this is, I'm guessing, a file tests failing on 220502. So I'm guessing they've got that fixed. Then here's a problem, can't filter suggestions by date ranges. So they corrected that. Cannot order multiple from stage file. They've corrected that. That would be a real pain. When adding to a basket from a stage file, we may use the wrong inputs. Have to explore that one. When adding an order from a stage file without item fields, we only add price if there is a vendor discount. Okay. Order price is not populated when adding to a basket from a staged file. So that would be, that's now fixed as well. And then
We didn't have all of those problems. So I'm wondering, I mean, don't most of you that do the EDI ordering have the order prices populating?
yeah, we did. And the order multiples from a stage file, we were able to do that.
A lot of those bug fixes are backported to older versions. So like they were probably fixed before we ever got updated.
So other bugs. So these two are probably things that got backported.
Rhonda, there was that one you scrolled through. It says a duplicate budget does not keep users associated with the funds. I wonder, does that relate back to what we were talking about with the budget or no?
Let's see, what does it tell us? All right. It could be right to choose to duplicate a budget from one year to the next to be able to keep the users budget borrowers associated with that budget. Users are useful in particular to receive orders. Currently, this functionality retrieves only the owner and funds associated with the budget. This enhancement would be optional using checkbox in the budget view to. Okay, that I think is good. It sounds like, you know,
We can't hear you, Rhonda. But it looks like it's about users as opposed to
Yeah.
the budget. Yeah.
okay. As soon as I get off this call and put in the ticket, microphone. How it goes. So I think that is pretty much most of that for acquisitions. So I think, because I think we're back around to the top again for enhancements. Does anybody have anything besides acquisitions that you're really looking forward to having in 2211 that you've heard about through Monday Minutes or reading through the release notes or anything like that?
Well, I was going to make a comment and just to the acquisitions group and ask if any of you have the same problem. There are rare times that when I import a file, I need to undo the import for whatever reason. And what happens is the items are then erased from the bib record. So now I have to add them back in. And I guess I haven't approached this with Bywater yet as a bug, but do any of you or have you any of you experienced this?
I think, let me check. Oops. Oh, I'm going to stop sharing my screen here. I want to say that we had a bug. We had some problem with it a while back. But I don't think it's that same thing. It's different. Okay. Does anybody else have a problem with the undoing of the import?
We don't often reverse it. So I would have to go and check to see.
So it looks like it's bug 14210. I just looked it up.
Jason just put it in the chat. One, four, two. Okay. Did anybody have anything else they wanted to share with the group or thoughts or anything like that? I will get back to end of year.
Can't hear you.
All right. Maybe I need to just. Well, next month I will have a microphone that works and we will see you then. Which would be, let me get the date. It will be May 16 at the same time. So May 16 with the same link and everything. We'll see you next month. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks.